Right now, luxury cars are sitting, fading, and getting ignored on used lots for all the wrong reasons. Buyers see older styling, slower sales, and badges that do not feel trendy anymore. Then they assume expensive trouble is coming. That mistake is where the value is hiding. Some of these cars were built with smooth engines, strong transmissions, and the kind of comfort that can keep going for a very long time. I am talking about luxury cars. People are walking past today that can become 500,000-mile gold mines in the right hands. Stay close, because number 1 is the safest and smartest buy here. Number 8. 2019 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid. This is the luxury sedan nobody argues over, and that is exactly why the value is still sitting there. The 2019 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid looks too calm, too mature, and too quiet for shoppers chasing a German badge or some fake sport package, so it keeps getting passed over while smarter buyers do the math. In 2026, a lot of these sit around $15,500 to $17,850, with some weaker resale examples dipping into the mid-$14,000 range. And that is a deal for a roomy mid-size luxury car that can return about 42 miles per gallon in the city and 39 on the highway. That is not normal luxury car fuel burn. That is commuter math with leather seats. This is the one for the older driver who wants comfort, silent highway manners, and a cabin that feels more like an easy chair than a billboard. I like this pick because we are focusing on the hybrid, not the hotter gas trims people buy when they want to feel excited for 12 minutes. The hybrid setup is the better long-haul play here because it lowers running costs, stays smooth in traffic, and matches the entire personality of the car. This Lincoln is not built for corner carving. It is built for longer drives, calmer ownership, and lower fuel bills without losing that plush, soft luxury feel a lot of modern entry luxury sedans forgot to deliver. Compare it to a same-money German sedan, and the difference gets ugly fast. The German car may have a nicer logo and a tighter rear seat, but once the repair list starts growing, that cheap buy becomes an expensive lesson. The Lincoln is the opposite. Subscribe for more roadside gold. The market discounts it because the image feels sleepy, not because the ownership case is weak. That is exactly the kind of pricing mistake we want. On inspection, start with the hybrid transition itself. You want it to move between engine and electric power in a smooth, clean way, not with shudders or odd hesitation. Then check battery cooling performance, because a neglected hybrid system can turn your bargain into a headache. Work the screen, the camera, the audio, and every climate setting, because electronic glitches are the sort of thing that make a luxury car feel old overnight. Read the tire wear carefully, because alignment problems show up there first. Then look for a clear service history, especially around fluids and care, because these cars reward routine attention. If the story is steady, the cabin stays silent, and the hybrid system feels natural, this is one of the easiest luxury bargains in America right now. And the next car gives up the mileage edge, but it brings back that old-school full-size float and wide-seat comfort people miss. Number 7. 2018 Cadillac XTS 3.6. This is the soft-riding Cadillac. Nobody shows off online, but a lot of older buyers still understand exactly why it works. The 2018 XTS is the kind of big sedan the market keeps punishing because it feels too much like a traditional luxury car and not enough like a sharp little sports sedan for younger badge chasers. Good. That stigma is your opening. Most mainstream trims sit around $15,900 to $17,600 in 2026, and some private sale cars land even lower, which is wild when you remember how much room, comfort, and road trip ease you get here. This is the sedan for someone who wants wide seats, easy entry, a big trunk, and a highway ride that feels smooth instead of busy. Under the hood, stick with the naturally aspirated 3.6-liter V6 and the 6-speed automatic. That is the right play. Do not force the V-Sport into this conversation just because it looks more dramatic on paper. The standard car is the better fit for this channel because the whole point is simple. Proven hardware in an overlooked luxury shell. The XTS makes sense for buyers who want something that feels substantial and relaxed, not edgy. That matters. A lot of newer entry luxury sedans feel tighter, smaller, and cheaper inside, even when they cost the same money or more. The Cadillac gives you real space, real seat width, and that calm highway character that used to define luxury before everybody decided every sedan needed to pretend it was a track toy. In real life, that makes the XTS easy to live with. It also makes it easy to dismiss if you care too much about image. That is why they sit. They look like older driver cars, and buyers make the lazy mistake of assuming that means bad value. It usually means the opposite. On inspection, start with the CU screen and make sure it responds the way it should, because a laggy or glitchy system will wear on you fast. Then listen for front-end noise over rough roads, because heavier luxury sedans can hide worn components until you hit broken pavement. If the car has magnetic ride control, pay close attention to how it settles after bumps, because that system matters to the way the car feels. Check underneath for rust, especially in salt states, and look for cooling leaks or dried residue under the hood. A full-size comfort sedan only stays a bargain when the basics stay clean. If the ride feels plush, the cabin stays tight, and the story looks honest, the XTS is still one of the best old-school luxury buys out there for most buyers. And the next car is even more under the radar, with cleaner mechanical thinking than most shoppers realize. Number 6. 2017 Acura RLX. This is the luxury Honda people forget exists until they drive one, shut the door, and realize the market has been sleeping on a smart sedan. The 2017 Acura RLX is one of the cleanest answers for buyers who want Acura reliability, real highway comfort, and none of the repair anxiety that comes with the same money German sedans. In 2026, these usually sit around $14,000 to $16,300 depending on trim and condition, and that is a strong value for a big premium sedan hardly anybody asks about anymore. Low sales volume is a huge part of the reason it rots on lots. People just do not search for it. That is good news for us. The version to focus on is the standard 3.5-liter V6 car, not the more complex sport hybrid. The regular RLX gives you the honest setup here. You get a naturally aspirated V6, a conventional automatic, and a luxury car built with the kind of careful engineering logic Honda has always understood better than most brands. This is the sedan for someone who wants reliable bones wrapped in a cleaner, quieter shell. It is for the buyer who likes the idea of a BMW 5 Series or Audi A6, but does not like the idea of paying for their bad moods 5 years later. The Acura gives you a big back seat, a silent cabin, and a mature road feel without asking you to gamble. It also has that strange used market problem where it is too invisible to feel exciting, which is exactly what creates the discount. In a lot of cases, the RLX is the kind of car you buy after getting tired of looking at flashy options that do not add up. It feels solid, stable, and well-sorted in a way many luxury cars never manage once age gets involved. On inspection, start with transmission behavior. You want a smooth pull from a stop, clean shifts at light throttle, and no odd flare when the car is warm. Then pay attention to the rear steer feel, because the car should feel natural and composed, not strange or twitchy. Look for timing cover seepage under the hood, because even a strong drivetrain still needs an honest check. Run through every electronic feature, because luxury cars are judged by the small things every day. Then demand maintenance records, because a low-volume sedan only becomes a gold mine when the previous owner treated it like one. If the cabin stays quiet, the drivetrain feels clean, and the records look right, this Acura is one of the smartest unloved luxury sedans in the country, and the next car is even more forgotten, especially by rear-drive buyers who still know what a proper luxury stance should feel like. Number 5. 2018 Infiniti Q73.7. This is the rear-drive luxury sedan buyers walk past because it looks like yesterday's idea of success, and that is exactly why it can still be a gold mine today. The 2018 Infiniti Q73.7 makes more sense the longer you stare at the numbers. In 2026, fair purchase pricing sits around $16,350, which is a shocking price for a naturally aspirated luxury sedan with this kind of highway character. Under the hood, you get the 3.7-liter V6 and a 7-speed automatic, and that old-school formula is the whole appeal. There is no little turbo engine trying to sound brave. There is no fake sport gimmick hiding a thin drivetrain. You get a real sedan stance, a long hood, a planted rear drive feel, and the kind of stable highway behavior a lot of newer cars forgot to deliver. This is for the buyer who still likes the way a proper sedan settles at 75 miles per hour and tracks straight without feeling nervous. The cabin has soft seats, a quiet ride, and enough room to make long interstate miles feel easy. The reason it rots on lots is simple. Modern luxury shoppers chase fresher screens and trendier sheet metal. The Q70 does not beg for attention. It just sits there looking too traditional, which pushes down the price. Compared to the same money German midsize sedans, the ownership risk starts looking very different. The German cars may feel more fashionable for a month, but the turbo plumbing, extra complexity, and badge tax can turn a cheap buy into a painful repair story fast. The Infiniti keeps the pitch cleaner. You are buying a big, smooth V6 and a transmission that feels like it belongs in a grown man's car. On inspection, start with the road test and listen for the drive shaft hum or wheel bearing noise. Watch the transmission once the car is fully warm. You want smooth shifts, not lazy flare, hard bangs, or strange hesitation. Check for oil seepage, because leaks matter more than shiny paint. Read the tire wear like a map, because this car tells the truth through the rubber. Then look hard at the rear seat and rear doors, because chauffeur-style abuse leaves clues in the back. If the car feels tight, the drivetrain stays clean, and the story looks honest. This is still one of the most overlooked luxury sedans in America right now. And the next car is bigger, richer, and depreciates like it offended the market. Number 4. 2018 Genesis G90 5.0. This is the flagship luxury sedan that makes people stop and ask, why is this thing so cheap today? The 2018 Genesis G90 with the 5.0 V8 is the kind of car that should feel untouchable on paper. Yet in 2026, you can still find fair purchase pricing around $21,900, with used examples sometimes slipping below that, depending on miles and condition. That is wild when you remember what this car was trying to be. It was not built as a cut-rate near luxury sedan. It was built as a full flagship, loaded, heavy, silent, and designed to isolate the driver from the world. Luxury snobs still get nervous when the badge is not German, and that fear keeps the discount alive. For the right buyer, this thing feels like cheating. The best version to center here is the 5.0 V8 with the 8-speed automatic, because it gives you the simple flagship case we want. Yes, the Turbo 6 exists, but the whole point here is to avoid chasing complexity when there is a cleaner choice sitting right there. The V8 car gives you strong power, a calm surge, and effortless highway passing that makes a big sedan feel expensive. This is the car for the older executive buyer, the long-distance traveler, or the man who wants true big car isolation without paying German flagship money and then praying every time a warning light shows up. Compared to the same era German flagships, the difference is not just price, it is courage. Those rivals still ask you to be far braver about maintenance, modules, and surprise failures. The Genesis lets you step into a genuinely plush cabin, broad seats, and a road feel that stays composed at 80 miles per hour without forcing you to accept the same repair risk. It is a massive luxury car for normal luxury money, but because it is loaded, you still need to inspect it like a serious purchase. Start with every air and seat electronic feature, because power seats, ventilation, shade controls, and memory functions all need to work. Run through the adaptive features and make sure cameras, sensors, and driver aids behave the way they should. Check the wheels for curb damage, because heavy cars and expensive rims tell ownership stories fast. Look at the cooling system history and underhood condition, because a neglected V8 is never cheap. Then demand service records, because this sedan only works as a bargain when the previous owner treated it like a serious machine. If the cabin feels solid, the ride stays smooth, and the records show real care, this is one of the most underpriced full-size luxury cars in the country. And the next car gives up size, gains balance, and brings the kind of Japanese long-haul trust many buyers want most. Number 3. 2016 Lexus GS 350. This is the Lexus for buyers who think the ES is too soft, too sleepy, and too much like a rolling living room, and that is why it earns this spot. The 2016 GS 350 is the serious man's Lexus sedan, the one with enough balance, enough rear drive feel, and enough longer-term sanity to make the same money German sedans look like emotional decisions. In 2026, fair purchase pricing sits around $19,200, while many private party and higher-mile cars can drop into the upper teens. That puts it right in the lane where smart buyers start asking hard questions. Why buy a BMW 5 Series or Audi A6 with more trend appeal if what you really want is a car that feels expensive, driven, and trusted after the first few years are gone? The right car to focus on here is the GS 350, not the Turbo 200T, and not the rarer hybrids. The 3.5-liter V6 is the heart of the recommendation, and in rear drive form, it comes with the 8-speed Sport Direct Shift automatic. That setup gives the GS its whole personality. It feels tighter than an ES, more planted than a front-drive luxury sedan, and more honest than flashy rivals built to impress on a lease lot. This is for the buyer who wants a real sedan, not a couch with a badge. It is for the man who still notices steering feel, body control, and the difference between soft luxury and well-judged luxury. On the highway, the GS stays quiet, but it never feels numb. Through a long bend, it feels stable, measured, and expensive in a lasting way. The market discounts them because they are caught in the middle. They are not as cushy as the ES, not as flashy as a German badge, and not as trendy as a crossover. Good. That confusion creates the opening. Against the same money German midsize sedans, the Lexus usually wins the ownership argument by staying simpler, more predictable, and easier to trust after 100,000 miles. Still, you need to inspect it as any grown man should. Look for water pump signs or dried coolant traces, because small leaks are still real leaks. Listen for suspension wear over rough pavement, because even a good chassis gets tired parts. Test the infotainment controller and make sure the cabin functions work, because this is still a luxury car. Check brake history and read the tires for alignment clues. Then study accident repair quality closely, because a clean title does not always tell the whole story. If the drive feels tight, the cabin stays quiet, and the records support the story. The GS 350 is one of the best luxury sedans left for buyers who still care how a car feels. And the next car is newer, softer in character, cheaper in image, and easier for most people to live with every day. Number 2. 2019 Genesis G80 3.8. This is the luxury sedan that feels expensive, serious, and rich, yet it still sells like buyers think they are settling for less. The 2019 Genesis G80 3.8 is one of the strongest value plays in the used luxury market because it gives you near Lexus calm, highway comfort, and a cabin that feels a class above its resale number. In 2026, most fair purchase numbers run from about $19,450 to the low $22,000 range, and that matters because the same money buys you a lot of risky temptation. The G80 is the opposite of that temptation. It has mature styling, a cabin that feels heavy and silent, and the road feel that does not need to shout to prove anything. This is the sedan for the driver who wants a quiet commute, a polished ride, and real luxury touches, but does not care whether the badge wins any parking lot contest. That weaker badge pull is exactly why these cars still sit. The version that makes the most sense here is the 3.8-liter V6 with the 8-speed automatic. That is the least complicated G80 powertrain, and that matters when the point of this video is long-haul ownership, not brochure bragging. The 3.8 gives you enough power, enough smoothness, and enough parts sanity to make this sedan easier to trust than a lot of the same money German 6-cylinder cars. Against those rivals, the Genesis usually gives you more seat comfort, more quiet, and a lower chance of repair drama turning your cheap luxury buy into a costly mistake. It also compares well against newer mainstream premium cars that may have fresher screens but feel cheaper in the doors, thinner in the seats, and less composed at 75 miles per hour. The G80 feels like a proper luxury sedan every time you settle into it, but you still need to inspect it like a man spending his own savings. Start with a full electronics sweep. Test the screen, the camera, the audio, the climate controls, the seat functions, and every switch you will touch weekly, because luxury cars are judged by small failures. Then check the cooling history and look for signs of neglect under the hood, because a nice interior never cancels mechanical laziness. On the drive, pay close attention to transmission behavior. You want smooth upshifts, clean kickdowns, and a settled feel once the car is warm. Then read the tires for age and wear patterns, because old rubber and uneven wear turn a refined sedan into a fake first impression. Finally, demand service records, because the best luxury bargains always come with a boring paper trail. If the story is calm, the ride stays stable, and the cabin still feels tight. This Genesis is one of the smartest luxury buys anywhere. And number 1 is not the most exciting car here, but it is still the easiest recommendation in this list. Number 1. 2018 Lexus ES 350. This is the luxury sedan people call boring until they need one that simply works. And that is exactly why it wins this list. The 2018 Lexus ES 350 is not rare, not exotic, and not remotely interested in pretending to be a sports sedan. Good. That is the advantage. In 2026, fair purchase pricing lands around $2,200, with higher mile cars dipping lower and cleaner retail examples climbing into the 20s, and even at that money, the ES still makes brutal sense. You get the naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6, the smooth 6-speed automatic, and one of the most proven long-term luxury formulas in America. This is the sedan for daily use, highway miles, long ownership, and that quiet satisfaction buyers feel when the car starts every morning without creating fresh drama. The ride is calm, the cabin is silent, and the controls feel easy the first day you touch them. It also carries the kind of resale strength that keeps you from feeling trapped later. That matters for a 45-plus buyer using real money, not fantasy money. Compared with the same money newer entry luxury sedans, the ES often looks less flashy but holds up better where it counts. The rivals may offer sharper styling, bigger screens, or a cooler image for a season, but the Lexus usually wins on trust, service predictability, and plain old mechanical honesty. That is why it is the broadest, no-regrets luxury car on the board. You are not betting on a gimmick. You are buying a pattern that has already proven itself on real roads for real owners. The inspection side is simple, but it still matters. Look for front cover seepage under the hood, and do not ignore minor leaks just because the body looks clean. Check suspension condition over rough pavement, because even durable cars get worn parts. Read the tire wear carefully, and watch how the car tracks, because alignment and neglect always leave fingerprints. Demand service records, especially fluid history, because the best ES cars usually come with the most boring ownership stories. Then test interior electronics one by one, because comfort features only matter when they still work every day. The deeper reason this Lexus takes the number one is emotional as much as practical. It removes doubt. It removes second guessing. It removes the sinking feeling that comes after buying a used luxury car with too much image and not enough substance. This is the easiest car here to trust with your own money and your own long-term plans. It is not thrilling. It is the most dependable answer. Click the next video now, because the market is still discounting the wrong luxury sedans. Smart buyers move earlier, learn faster, and grab the right cars before everybody else catches on.